Hi everybody, it's a bit weird because I can't see myself because I'm on my iPad. So if I make funny faces and forget that I'm actually on camera, that's why. I obviously need to introduce myself. My name's Emma Shippey. I'm 34. I've got a daughter who's 4 tomorrow. And I just wanted to, I'll also introduce Michaela actually first, who obviously is sitting there with us and is going to help me with this seminar type thing about Zinzino. I started talking to her, well, I found her on Facebook randomly in like a lupus group because I've got lupus. So I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and she commented saying she might be able to help somebody within the group with their problems, their symptoms. So I just messaged her and said, can you help me too? So that's how we got connected. And I can't believe we're sitting here now doing this from that message. So it's very odd, but yeah, so I started talking to her, and to be honest, it took me quite a long time to actually get on board because I was in quite a bad place. I wasn't very happy or healthy and a bit dubious, didn't have much money. So I was quite, not scared, but I wanted to look into it first. So we started properly chatting, I'd say in May this year. Yeah, this year. So much has happened here that it feels like it was last year, but it was this year. And we talked loads for months, and eventually, unfortunately, I ended up in a hospital and sorry, I'm gonna get upset, in ICU, unfortunately. So with seizures, symptoms I'd never had before that I didn't ever associate with lupus. So that was hard, and I was in hospital for a month and in ICU for, I think, 4 days. They had to sedate me and help ventilate me and help me try and recover. So luckily I survived. Apparently only 50% of people survive ICU, so I was winning already. And yeah, so once I was on the ward and I could talk and stuff, because I literally couldn't talk, walk, eat for a good 3 weeks, I decided I'm going to order this oil that she's been banging on about, and I'm going to see what it's about. I don't care how much it costs me. I need to be better and healthy for my daughter. So we went through it, and at first it's a little bit daunting because I was like, I don't actually know much about it. So I watched a few YouTube videos. One in particular was about three women with 3 different autoimmune diseases, and they all had testimonies on how much it had helped them, how different they felt. And obviously I was still a little bit like, okay, I've tried so many things before, you know, I've done everything that you can think of, not everything, but I have tried hard to stay healthy and drink clean water and things like that. So I just thought, right, I'm going to go for it. So I ordered the products, I ordered the blood test, I did the blood test. The results were horrendous. I mean, if you haven't got the right ratio of omega-3 to 6, then you're looking at living less time, basically. So I was quite shocked with my results. Obviously started the oil straight away. And I also take the probiotics and the multivitamin. So obviously I'd just come out of hospital. I started on the protocol. I was being looked after at home for about 2 weeks by my other half, Anthony, who's here. And he sort of did everything for me for those 2 weeks. Then I decided to get, you know, the like Gusto or HelloFresh or something. I started cooking every other night. And then from there, I just started doing more and more. And I think after about a month of being out of ICU, I was walking 10,000 steps a day with my mum. And I was cleaning my kitchen cupboards out to her absolute disgust because she was like, no, you're supposed to be recovering. But I just had so much energy and felt so much better, so much happier, more confident, no anxiety. I was just getting better and better and better every day. Went to the hospital, had blood tests. They said all my vitamin levels were perfect. Everything looks fine. Like my doctor is just like, what's going on? Like we genuinely thought I would be in some kind of care until maybe the new year. My mum took time off work. had like carers leave, and I don't think she's actually used it for me. She's just not had to. I've just done so well, and I'm really proud of myself. And it started to dawn on me, like, that's why my group is called It's the Oil, because I genuinely can't think of anything else that I've changed apart from coming out of hospital. And I'm still on my medication that was on before, which I'm slowly going to try and wean off, but that's the only change I've made. And I couldn't think before of having 6 hours sleep at night that would make me feel sick. That's all I've had every night, apart from maybe, I'd say once a week I get like 7-8 hours. And I literally wake up after 6 hours feeling absolutely great. Anyone want a coffee? That kind of thing. And people just can't believe it. And like, to look at me, you would not think. I was telling the lady that did my hair today about it all, and I was like, I feel like I'm telling someone else's story, because I can't believe that was July this year. I came out of ICU on July the 19th, and now it's what, October the 20th, and I'm sitting here with all of you telling my story as if it was someone else. It's crazy. I may have gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to tell you my story, introduce you to Michaela, and then I'm hoping Michaela's going to explain the science, because I am still learning a lot about it. And like, obviously I've got a full-time job as well, so, and a daughter and a big child called Anthony, so and Melody. So I don't have that much time on my hands, but I am trying. So Michaela.
And thank you so much, Emma, for the introduction, also for telling your story, because you have been through a lot, and your body have just showed remarkable improvements after we were able to implement the health protocol. So I'm going to explain a little bit more of what we have been doing with your health and why you have seen these results, so that the other people around you also can understand what have happened with Emma's body and what can potentially happen with my body. So thank you so much, Emma, for being a part of this. Okay. So I will start sharing my screen. And before I am talking about what I'm going to talk, I'm also going to introduce myself a little bit more too. But first, Emma sent me this, and I want to share this with you guys, because this is some of Emma's journey. And before I'm going into any deeper, I want to bring you back on, Emma, and I want to just talk a little bit more here, because it creates a lot of emotions for you, and I totally understand that. And it creates a lot of emotions for me too, because I know how hard it is and how stressful it is when you are a mom and you are subjected to a disease that you can't really be. You can't, you're out of charge. It doesn't feel like you can do much about it. And you eventually ended up at the hospital, very close to face death. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Sorry, I muted myself. Just having a little cry there. Sorry, can you just say the question again?
No, I was just saying that it's really hard and stressful, especially when you're a mom, when you have kids to take care of, and being so close to death. It impacts the life. It impacts your values and how you're seeing health. And that's when you really decided that, okay, my health is so important. Like, I need to prioritize this now.
Yeah, like I said, I'd tried quite a few different approaches to it, and it's so, because you don't know, it's unpredictable. Lupus is, you don't get any signs. I mean, that first picture was me at a christening the day before I fell ill, and I couldn't literally walk or get out of bed or eat. So it's like, I mean, sorry, the reason I was in hospital, it wasn't actually lupus in the end, ironically, but that is what lupus is like. It is just the next day you're just down, and you can't do that with a 3-year-old. You know, I didn't see my daughter for a month while I was in hospital. I FaceTimed her once, and that was because, and I was too scared to do it before that because I didn't want her to get upset. But it actually turned out after that call, she was buzzing and she was really happy. So I'm glad I did it. But I can't leave my daughter again. I can't. I was lying in that hospital bed. I said to my other half, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the nurses being able to go home to their families. I'm jealous of people just walking about. Like, it was horrible. And I just can't, that can't happen again. And I'm not saying anybody in this group is as extreme as that with their health issues, and I hope nobody ever is, but I now really, really want to help people with the issues they've got already and make sure they don't progress, because that's what happens. And if you go to the doctors with one issue, they will give you a drug that will give you another issue, and I believe that's what happened to me. And there's a small chance what happened to me in July was the medication that I'm on for lupus to stop me having a flare-up. And I would do anything when I was in ICU to be in a lupus flare-up and not going through what I went through. So yeah, I just realised I've got to try this protocol. I feel like I had a good feeling about it, and I was excited for it to come. And ever since, I've been excited about it. And I'm like, it's the oil. Even like my skin's really soft. Like, honestly, I would pay more for it, you know, it's cheap. I'm like, what? Yeah. So yeah, having a child and having an autoimmune disease is horrendous. But any issue you've got that you want to sort out, I have got faith that this is for you, whether it's a stomach issue, which obviously everything starts with anyway, through to depression, through to weight loss. I've literally put 3 pounds on, I think 3 or 4 pounds since I came out of hospital, which I lost about 13-14 pounds in like 2 weeks, and I've only put a few back on and I look fine and healthy. I feel healthy, you know, I've filled out in the right places. I can't, yeah, it's the oil.
Yeah, I just want to bring you back because I saw that how much emotions that created, and that's the reality for a lot of people today. And that's why it's so important to, like you said, to prevent that ever happens to people. And that's why we have to understand cellular health, gut health, and inflammation. And that's what I'm going to educate you guys about today. So thank you so much, Emma, for being vulnerable and for sharing your story. I know it's not easy. And I will also share my story a little bit in the introduction I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to also do this. Okay. A little bit about me first before I start telling you my story, because I grew up in Sweden. I have a big family, 7 siblings. I love being active, training dogs and horses. And I've been married for 13 years and I got 3 amazing kids. But after every single pregnancy, something bad have happened to me and my health as well. Sorry, I just need to put my phone on sleep mode so I don't get notifications all the time. Forget to do that. But yeah, something happened after every single child. After my first child, I got shingles and was not medicated early enough. After my second child, I started having grass and pollen allergies, and starting eventually became a cross allergies. I became allergic to most fruit and veggies you can think of, including bananas. Like, who can't have a banana? I could not eat any fruit or a lot of the veggies. I've always been interested about food and how nutrition can heal our body. I've been helping lots of people to heal their bodies with the right nutrition and changing their habits of eating. And after I had so much success with this, I actually went back to school to study to become a nutritionist so I could help more people. And I have been specializing myself into cellular health, gut health, and inflammation. I'm also behind foodchangeslives.com. And my brain just talk and like, I always ask why. I don't stop that. Okay, my body is allergic to bananas. I keep on asking, why is my body reacting to bananas? Why is my gut not helping it? Like, why is it not healed? Why? So if you have any questions also, just put them in the chat and I will be able to get back to them afterwards so you don't forget about them. So please put questions in the chat. But one of the biggest reasons why I got so interested about nutrition and I really saw the power of healing was when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And it was very, very devastating to not knowing if she was going to be able to make it or if, yeah, what she was facing or if a surgery would be able to help her and so on. And she was able to have a surgery the first time and she had a couple of good years of life, and then she was diagnosed again. And this time they said that the cancer had just spread too much. We cannot do anything about it. And the first time I also put her on strict dietary changes. So we were able to shrink the cancer before she had her surgery. That helped her a lot. And the second time we were also able to shrink her cancer because it was just too much all over the place. The doctor said, we cannot do anything. We can't help her. But we were able to get them to do some radiation. At the same time, we put in really, really strict diet, and we were able to help her enough so that she could have a surgery eventually. So she's still with us. She's still with us today. She's still able to hang out with her grandkids. And I'm so happy for that because that's a picture of her when she's on her farm. She of course is in the back. She loves riding horses. And she,
hello, Mama.
She thought I was taking a picture at the beginning, so I told her I'm making a movie instead. But anyway, that is my lovely mom. She has so much sass to her. I love her so much. I'm so grateful that she can be a part of my kid's life, because that may not have been the case if I didn't have the knowledge about nutrition and we did everything that we did for her and her health. So that was the start of the journey of why I became so fascinated about nutrition. Of course, my own health problem was also a big thing. And because of my own health problem, I discovered perhaps the world's best hidden secret about health. And every solution starts with a problem. And that was my case too. After my third child, something even more something really bad affected my health. And I started having chronic neck pain that caused me not to be able to get out of bed by myself. And the days I could get out of bed, it was a very slow process. And I was looking like this. I had to turn my whole head down towards facing the bed. And then I had to scoot my butt up in the air. And then I had to lift my head up into a right position on my body. And then I had to stay completely straight all day. I could turn my head like this if I was completely straight. If I leaned forward, I could not get my head back up again. I had to lift my head up. So I was not able to sleep during the night because every time I moved my body, I would wake up in excruciating pain. And having a newborn baby, trying to lay a nurse, it was 2 years of a lot of pain, which caused me to seek every possible treatment that is out there. I went to to doctors both in the United States and in Norway. They did the MRIs in both places. They could not find an issue. I went to chiropractors, osteopaths, massage therapists, acupuncture, chronic therapy. Like I had an appointment every single week almost, and with different people, because I tried to find the one person that could have seen this issue before that could really help me. And no one was able to help me. And sometimes I get the release from the pain a couple of days, 2-3 days, and then I was back into an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 again. But I'm coming back to my story a little bit later. We want to feel good, stay fit, and be healthy. And even if we're having so much knowledge about health, about nutrition, what we should eat, that we have essential vitamins and minerals and fatty acids and so on, even if we have so much knowledge, the health problems today keep on increasing. And it's not only that people are getting sicker and sicker, it is that we are getting sicker in younger ages. So things that usually affected people 55 plus is now affecting us, even though we are like 25 and 30, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, colon cancer, and so on. Just one example is, for example, kids with autism. In 1980, it used to be 1 kid out of 25,000 kids that had autism. In 1990, it was 4 kids out of 10,000. And today it is 1 kid out of 57 kids in the United States. And it's time to just stop up and ask us why. It's not because we're better at diagnosing. It is this because, I mean, it can be a combination, but not that big of a combination. Like, we're actually getting more kids that have problems with autism. So we have to go back and remember that we should let our food be our medicine and our medicine be our food. It is super important to have the right nutrients for our body. And we know this. If we're not getting vitamin C, we will die eventually, okay? So the food we used to eat was from Mother Nature. It was full of vitamins, minerals, phyto and micronutrients, beta-glucans, fiber, healthy fats, and a good balance between omega-6 and omega-3. And I'm going to talk more about this balance. But today we eat man-made food. We have lower nutrition density, high in sugar, many empty calories. It's low in fiber, less healthy fats, and with an imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3. So if we're looking at the history of omega-6 to omega-3, our DNA wants to have a composition of equal amounts. And if we give the body enough of omega-6 and omega-3, the cells will create a composition of equal amounts of omega-6 to omega-3. Science recommends us to never go below 3:1 in ratio. I'm going to explain this ratio a little bit more afterwards so you can understand this. Up to 1960, human population did not have too bad of an imbalance in the ratio. But after 1960, after the Second World War, we started industrializing the food we're eating. The cows were put into barns, they were fed corn and soy and wheat and other things that make them fat faster. The chickens are no longer out picking worms and insects. They're instead fed grain, soy, and things that makes them fat faster. And even the fish we're buying, it's very hard to get a hold of wild-caught fish anymore. A lot of it is raised. And what are the raised fish eating? Well, like man-made food that we're creating to feed the fishes so that they can grow. So it's a lot of things that are not natural anymore. It's man-made. And this have been causing us to also develop vegetable oils, and we're putting vegetable oils into a lot of the processed food because it creates a long shelf life. And vegetable oil is very high in omega-6s. And what's happening then is that these are stats for United States, and they're not too far off from UK. UK is about the same. Norway and Sweden is a little bit better, but it's still way too much imbalance. So in 2002, we can see that there is scientific articles done which show that the average was 15:1. And today the average is 23:1. And I don't even want to know what the average is going to be in another 20 years if we're not educating about this and helping people understand that what we're doing to our body is not very good. So according to EFSA, European Food Safety Authority, omega-3 is good for a bunch of different things. And it's because we have so much science behind this that we know that it's helping with the nerve development and eye and brain. It helps with normal vision. It helps with cardiovascular function and so on. I'm not going to talk so much about that. I'm going to mention the anti-inflammatory action because that's very important today. You have most likely heard about anti-inflammatory diet. A lot of our diseases have inflammation as a root cause. So it have an anti-inflammatory action and also membrane cell structure. It's very important for the cell membrane, okay? So if we're taking a cell, and this is what I'm loving to educate about, because our body is built up with 37 trillions of cells, okay? It's a lot of cells, and every single second of the day, we have about 2 million of cells that are dying, but we are also replenishing it. We are regenerating about 2 million of new cells. So if we're taking a small part of the cell membrane and we're enlarging that, you'll be able to see all the green dots here. And the green dots have pink tails and they go towards the middle. There is one layer up there and one layer down there. And these green dots, they're fatty acids. They are made of fat. And omega-6 and omega-3 is essential. What does essential mean? Well, essential means that we cannot live without it. We cannot live without it. And the reason why a lot of us are still able to live, even though we are lacking omega-3, is simply because we're eating so much omega-6 that the body still have omega-6 molecules it can use when it creates a cell membrane. But we have to deal with the consequences. A healthy cell is a cell that has good amounts of both omega-6 to omega-3s. Then the nutrients are able to get into the cell and the waste and toxins are able to get out. That's a healthy cell. An imbalanced cell is when we're having too little omega-3. So we're building up cell membranes with more omega-6s. That is creating our cell membranes to be harder, less permeable. And when it's less permeable, only some of the nutrients are able to get in and only some of the waste is able to get out. And the harder cell membranes are, the harder it is for the cell to function because it needs the nutrients to get in there to have an optimal cell function. So the cell membrane is in charge of what comes in and what comes out. Also, the hormone receptors on the cell membranes. You might have heard that many of your friends or family have issues with their hormones. Maybe they have a type 2 anti-TPO, maybe they have T3, T4 issues, maybe they have insulin resistance and so on. A lot of these hormonal issues are due to us having too much inflammation, due to us having too much omega-6 in our cell membranes, causing the hormones not to be able to attach. And if they're not able to attach, the next signal that is supposed to go out, the function just stops up. So it affects the hormone receptors. It's also affecting the communication between the cells because the cells need to communicate between each other too to send signals and so on. So all of these things are compromised when we're not having the right amount of omega-6 to omega-3. And the reason for that is that omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. Those are the ones that start the fire. So if you cut yourself and you get some bacteria in there, you will have some burning sensation. It will be painful and so on. That is the omega-6 is starting the inflammation. Okay. If you cut yourself, it's the omega-6 that is making the blood to clot up so you will not bleed to death. So we need omega-6 in our body to start the inflammation process for our survival. And we find omega-6 in everything that grows. A lot of people have never heard about omega-6 because we don't have to talk about it because everyone is eating plenty enough of it. So we are not talking about it. You should not supplement with it. We have plenty enough of that, unless you're having some special needs and but that can be measured and see if you need anything more. But anyway, omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. So when we have had that inflammatory response going on, we need to hose it down and say, okay, we're done with the inflammation, let's cool it off. That's the function of omega-3. It has an anti-inflammatory action, it puts out the fires, and we find it mainly in fish and animals. So everyone have heard omega-3 is good. And when I'm talking to people and ask them, why is it good? People have heard it's good for the brain, it's good for the heart sometimes, but they don't understand why it is good for our brain and why it's good for our heart. Well, have anyone told you that we need to have omega-3 every single time a cell is regenerated? And how many cells are we regenerating every second? Do you guys remember? 2 million of cells, about. Someone is talking that it's somewhere between 2 million and 25 million. It's a lot of cells being regenerated. So in conclusion, we lack key nutrients and have an imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3, and this is affecting our whole body negatively since our brain is made out of cells, our hair is made out of cells, our heart is made out of cells, skin, our organs, and our muscles, and our joints and bones, and everything is built with cells. So when we're having an imbalance and we're not able to get the nutrients in, the whole body is affected negatively. We need nutrients into our cell to have optimal cell function. But when we're correcting this imbalance, our whole body starts to work better, feel better. Our brain start to work better. Our organs start to work better. Our skin is getting softer. You heard Emma saying that. I live in Arizona now and I never use moisturizer. I don't need it, even though if I'm living in Arizona where it's so dry. Inner organs I mean, works better joints and muscles, restoration, and so on. So much things are working better. So the question is, where are you? Are you in the danger zone? And what do I mean with danger zone? It is when we're having too big imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3. We have too low levels of omega-3. We don't have enough with polyphenols in our diet, and we have too low levels of vitamin D3. Nordic Council of Ministry, I mean, there is so much science about this. So Nordic Council of Ministry have recommendation on their webpage that we should not have an imbalance bigger than 5:1. And the World Health Organization have recommendations on their webpage that we should not have an imbalance bigger than 4:1 if we want to have good heart health. But the field of science recommends 13:1. And the facts are that in the United States right now, the average is 23:1. And if people are in balance, they are at 13:1. Emma, can you unmute yourself and tell us what your first test result was?
I could find it, but I've had a new phone. It was bad. It was red. I could find it in our messages possibly.
You can find it and you can tell me when I'm coming to my test results, okay? So what does science say about the ratio and omega-3 levels? Well, a low omega-3 index is just as powerful in predicting early death as smoking. We need to have about 8% or higher. So what does this mean? Well, if you have lower omega-3 index, like a lot of Americans have lower than 4%, and if you would have had higher than 8, you're more likely to live a long, happier life than if you have lower than 4%. You're shortening your life with about equal amount of years as if you would have been 65 years old and smoked every single day. That is calculated to subtract about 4 to 5 years of your life, and that is equal as many years that is subtracted if you have a low omega-3 index. We also have studies showing that a ratio of 15:1 was the average, and in secondary prevention of cardiovascular disease, a ratio of 4:1 was associated with 70% decrease in total mortality. In total mortality, that's crazy high numbers. If we're able to lower them down from 15:1 down to 4:1, we have the potential to help people to stay healthier longer. It's amazing, since cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the world right now. It also says that a ratio of 2 to 3 suppressed inflammation in patients with rheumatoid arthritis, and a ratio of 5:1 had a benefit effect on patients with asthma. We have also science showing that it's good for mood-related diseases such as PTSD, anxiety, depression, and so on. So I found the most amazing company that offered a solution, and today I'm an independent partner with Zinzino, and I will tell you a little bit more about the solution they're offering. But the thing is, when I calculated how much omega-3 I needed for my body, I found out that if I'm eating cod, I need to eat 800 grams of cod that day to have enough of omega-3 in my system. And that solution is not simply a good option for me. I'm not able to do that every single day. So I'm super happy for the solution that Zinzino is offering. And Zinzino is all about inspiring change in life. They want to help people have better lives. And they have been gathering a scientific advisory board with some of the world's brightest minds in the field of wellness and nutrition, who developed the balance concept. And the balance concept is a concept where you have a blood test and you have an omega-3 oil, which will help you get in balance. And I will explain a little bit more about this. They also have other things that is also helping a lot with our health, and I will get back to that. But they have all patented product, they have their own manufacturer, you should go to Dr. Paul Clayton and read his blog. He's an amazing person, and he's one of the pioneers in the study of the pharmacological effect and botanical ingredients and how they affect your health and physical performance. And he have a PhD in neuropharmacological, sorry, I'm from Sweden, so sometimes I'm having problem with twisting my tongue. Neuropharmacological from the University of Edinburgh. But there's many other people that are involved in this, but he also has been writing some amazing books that are easy to learn about more if you want to dig deeper, and you can find them on Amazon. And here are some of their books that a lot of people like to use. and read. But anyway, would you like to take a test to find out your result? How your cells looks like? What the status of your body? Well, I wanted to do that. And what's really interesting about this is that the blood tests are sent in to an independent laboratory called Vista's Analytical Service. It's really important to understand that this is a service that have been offering their services since 1994. So they have been on the market for a long time. They are official partners to a lot of big prestigeful universities, including Harvard and Cambridge and so on. They have also been doing some work for WHO, so World Health Organization, and also Olympiatoppen Research Facility in Norway. They are GMP certified, and they are recognized as the pioneers in the use of dry blood spot testing. So we have done over 700,000 balance tests worldwide, and this is big. Like a lot of the scientific reports people are writing, it's with 100 and 200 people. We have done over 700,000 balance tests worldwide. And what we can see is that 95% of the global population is out of balance. And in North America, 99% is out of balance. But what's really interesting to see is that even if 13% is already using an omega-3 supplement, only 1% is in having the right ratio. And this is important to understand because most omega-3 supplements don't work. So there is no point of running out to the pharmacy or your store now and buy omega-3 just because you start learning about omega-3 is good for you. And I'm going to explain a little bit why most supplements don't work. You are going to be able to get your personal test result. And then in 120 days, you will be able to see how your blood have transformed and how your cell health have transformed. And this is my personal result. My first test was 9.4 to 1. And remember, I was in so much pain daily, I could not sleep. I could not get out of bed by myself. And my omega-3 index was at 5.3%. It needs to be above 8%. I was already using omega-3 supplement daily, a high quality omega-3 from Norway, cod liver oil. And my cell membrane was about twice too hard. And then you can see my result after 120 days. You can see my before and after. So Emma, can you share yours now?
Yeah, so pretty similar to yours, 9.6 to 1 and 2.5% omega-3 index. Can you see that?
See it, I think. Where are you showing something? Okay. Yeah.
It's quite similar to your results.
Yeah, you just had less omega-3 index as well. And yeah. What is your cell membrane fluidity?
Say that again.
Your cell membrane fluidity, if you scroll to the right.
Sorry. Insufficient, 14.9 to 1.
Yeah, so your cell membranes were like 4 times too hard. And also your omega-3 index was way lower. So the reason why the ratio was pretty good was because you're most likely eating less omega-6 than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is very good to get your results so you can see it and that you can actually change it. And this is some of the recent tests I've been doing with people. It's everything from 16, 17, 25, 28, even 44. And you can see that the cell membranes are hard and the omega-3 index is very low. We need to stay above 8% and people are lower than 3. And we need to change this. So because we need to change this and there's a lot of work to do, I have created something called Team 3-to-1 Balance. We are health promoters helping people to get in balance with evidence and test-based nutrition. And these are everything from customers that just are wanting to help people to learn about this, but it's also people that want to work with us and educate themselves on health and keep on educating others on health. So we help people get in balance in 120 days. And it's so fascinating how it doesn't matter if you start at 46.5 to 1 or if you start at 7.8 to 1, we'll be able to get you in the right balance in 120 days. So the blood test is just a home blood test. You just order it to your house. It's just a prick in the finger, 2 drops of blood, and you're sending it in. And is this working? Well, I see it work all the time with different, with my clients and with my partner's clients and so on. And if you want to, you're more than welcome to join my Facebook group, Omega-3. We share experiences. It's real people, real experiencing, and no more guessing test-based nutrition. So people are showing their before and after, and they are sharing what have happened with their blood pressure, with their skin, with their PMS and allergies, and with migraines, and with, yeah, it's just so much different people are getting help with. So it's not only for lupus, it's not only for chronic neck pain, it's to change the cellular status. And when we're doing that, the body is able to heal itself in a way that, yeah. And why is this working? Well, of course, we have products that have no oxidization. If you're buying fish and you leave it out on the countertop for too long, it will start to smell fishy. That will not happen with our product. It will not taste fish. It will not smell fish. You will never burp fish, because these products don't go bad, because a lot of omega-3 products, they're adding vitamin E as an antioxidant. And vitamin E, as soon as it comes down to our body, they get separated. And when omega-3 is by itself, it usually goes bad between 2 to 6 hours. We need omega-3 all of the 24 hours we have on the day to have optimal cell function. And then we're adding polyphenols. So we're adding polyphenols that is antioxidants from extra virgin olive oil. And this is what's different. And this is so genius, because every single doctor would love their clients to take a tablespoon of olive oil every day. It is super healthy. That is why the Mediterranean diet is healthy also. And we're able to utilize the omega-3 better if we're eating it together with olive oil. So we have the best olive oil on the market. So we also have a premium oil that is even richer in polyphenols. So then they have a special olive oil that is 30 times higher in polyphenols than any extra virgin olive oil you can find out on the market today. They add that in the omega-3. Another aspect of it that is very important to understand is that we are dosaging according to our body weight. So the bigger body we have, the more cells we have, the bigger need for omega-3. So it's very important to dosage according to body weight. We also have a water-soluble omega-3 that can be beneficial if you haven't removed your gallbladder, if you have gut issues or problems absorbing nutrients. We also have a vegan oil. We have capsules, and all the products are made with the highest quality and care. We are GMP certified. We're friends of the sea. We're also informed sports, so that it's safe for people that are competing to use our products. Yeah, halal means that we don't have any fish, what is it called? Fish shell, crabfish. Yeah, any shellfish that can cause allergy and so on. But what's the biggest difference is that we're not only telling people that our omega-3 is working, we're proving it with the blood test. Every single time, people are proving it. And before we started doing this with the blood test every single time, it was proven in the laboratory that our omega-3 is bioavailable for 35 hours in our body, compared to a lot of the competing brands that are only bioavailable 2 to 6 hours. Some are able 9, some are available 15 hours and so on. But this is the biggest reason why our omega-3 is superior. So 95% of everyone that is taking the balanced products have a ratio of the 3-to-1 ratio or better after 120 days. So we have a very high success rate, and the 5% that is not in the right ratio, they have usually seen their numbers get better. But one thing that can happen is that people are dosaging it wrong because they're ordering and calculating it completely right. One thing is that they may not remember to take it daily. And the third thing is that their absorption from taking up nutrients in general is so poor. So we need a little bit longer time in order to get into the right ratio. But what is so important is that we have health benefits in every single life stage. When I saw this, I knew right away, I need this for my kids. I need it for myself. I need it for my husband. I need it for my mom and dad, even if they're old, you know, everyone needs it. And it's important for the brain development when we're babies, even when we're in the mama's womb, and we're developing ourselves and we're developing our brain, it is super important. And then for brain and immune and growth, and then for reproduction, and then eventually for heart health and for our joints and muscles and so on. It's important for everyone. And if you go to Google Scholar and you type in omega-3, you will find over 100,000 of articles how omega-3 is very beneficial. And we know, because there's so much science, that it will help us have a better immune function, a healthier brain function, a healthy heart function. Just those three is so important. But we'll keep on, like there is so many things that it helps for. Support optimal and healthy muscle function, provides nutrients vital to optimal cell function, as I've been talking about, provides nutrients to teeth and for skin and so on, but also protects your cell from oxidative stress from free radicals. I'm not sure if you have heard about free radicals, but it's not something that is good, and we want protection for that. And we have lots of really high-performing athletes joining into Zinzino as an ambassador, just using their products, feeling the change, and they have been writing many articles, blog articles on Zinzino blog, if you want to go and read about what the athletes are sharing. But what we can see is that people are recovering faster, they have less days away from their sport because they have less injuries and so on. So it's just a very, very good product for optimal cell function. So reaching a balance between omega-6 and omega-3 are the first step of feeling good, staying fit, and being healthy. But I also want to talk about the gut, because the gut's primary function is the digestive and absorption of nutrients. And if we're not able to absorb the nutrients that we need for the cell function, we're not going to be able to have a body that is working anyway. So for Emma, for example, if we would have only put her on omega-3, she would not have had the same result as if we would. As in now, I put her on the whole health protocol. Now we'll talk about the whole health protocol with you and educate you on that. But major influences of both the development and function of the immune system. So it is super important for our immune system. It's also very important for our brain. Most of our serotonin and melatonin is created in our gut. So if we're not feeling happy, it's usually, and if we're having problem sleeping, it's usually due to bad gut health. And the gut is also having gut-brain communication. And I'm going to mention a little bit about that later. But what lives in our gut? We have about 100 trillions of bacteria, both good and bad. So remember, I said we have about 37 trillions of cells. We have over the double amount of gut bacteria in our gut. And everything you eat is either helping the good gut bacteria or the bad gut bacteria. And the problem today is that people are very good at feeding the bad gut bacteria a little bit more often than the good gut bacteria. And that is in the long run creating a lot of health issues for us. So we know that leaky gut can affect your health negatively. And you don't need to know that you have a leaky gut. Some people know. Some people know they have bloated stomach, they have diarrhea or constipation or stomach upset. So they know they have a gut issue. But a lot of people don't have any symptoms at all, but they might have a nutritional deficiency. Maybe they're always low on vitamin B12 or vitamin D or iron, for example. Maybe they have a weak immune system, and it doesn't have to be very weak, but it can just be that you're sick maybe 1 or 2 days longer than most people that get exactly the same bug that you got. If you have headaches, memory problem, brain fog, if you're tired, especially if you're tired after you had a meal, if you have skin problem, redness, acne, rosacea, or eczema, sugar cravings, weight gain, arthritis, joint pain, chronic inflammation, depression, anxiety, concentration problems, ADHD or ADD, autoimmune disease. All of these are related to gut issues. And there is so much more too. If you have a health problem, Google that together with inflammation. You will see inflammation is a cause. And also Google that together with leaky gut, and you will see if that have a relationship. So leaky gut affects your brain negatively. And one of the reasons is that the gut is communicating with the brain through vagus nerve and through spinal cord, but it's also communicating through the blood when we're having leaky gut. And it's not supposed to do that. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that problem. But what is leaky gut? Well, it's bad food that gives rise to a rot process and fermentation that favors bad bacteria. And the bad bacteria create substances that damage the sensitive intestinal mucosa, causing leaky gut. So inside of our gut, we have think of the gut as a tube, and then inside of that tube, we have a gut lining called the mucosa. And that is supposed to protect the gut wall. So the acidity food that we are swallowing is not damaging the cell wall. Well, the bad bacteria, they create substances that damage the cell wall and is causing leaky gut. And harmful substances ends up in the bloodstream, straining your organs. So what bad food contributes to leaky gut? First of all, it's sugar. You should try to stay away from sugar as much as possible. It is gluten, it is alcohol, it is vegetable oils, and vegetable oils, you find them in almost everything that is processed. So stay away from processed and you will be able to stay away from a lot of the vegetable oils. But also don't cook with sunflower oil, canola oil, and soybean oil, and all of those. And then we have additives. Okay, if your body don't know what it is, you're not able to. Sorry, I have a little girl home from school sick today, and she is home. Vad vill du? Mamma har en föreläsning. Du kan gå. Mamma kommer snart. Okej. Då måste det vara helt tyst. Ja, sitt helt tyst. She was asking if she can be here. Okay, so a leaky gut is when we're having food particles. So like the epicelles are supposed to be glued together. And when they're breaking apart, we're going to have leaky gut. So that's when two big particles of food and bacteria and dead cells and things are ending up directly in our bloodstream. And it's not supposed to be in the bloodstream. It's not supposed to be there. So that is what's causing us to have food intolerances, autoimmune diseases, nutrition malabsorption, and so on, and causing us to have problem with our brain. And it's also a lot of other contribution, like things that is contributing to this. It's stress, it's toxins, it's pesticides, it's medicine, antibiotics, and intestinal flora imbalances. So one thing I always ask my people to do is go and check your deodorant, for example. Is it containing aluminum, maybe that's how you're pronouncing it. But yeah, try to take away as many toxins in your life as possible. So how can we balance the gut? Well, exercise is one of the most important things. We also have to avoid bad food. We have to make sure that we have good cell function and cell health, because our gut is also built up with cells. And if you have chronic inflammation on cellular level, it's going to be hard to heal the gut. So we need to make sure we have the omega-3 and vitamin D levels that we need. And then we have to eat more fermented food that is rich in probiotic bacteria. And you've probably heard about supplements, probiotic supplements, but when we are taking just the supplement, the probiotic, that is just the bad gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria. But if we're not able to nourish them, they will die. So you will most likely waste your money when you are doing a supplement. We're never even sure if they're live eaters. I always tell my clients to eat it through food, eat more kefir, kombucha, fermented sauerkraut, kimchi, and other things that is fermented and have good gut bacteria, have good bacteria. And then eat more prebiotic fiber. And prebiotic fiber is something we implemented with Emma. So the World Health Organization have just come out with a report saying that a higher fiber intake reduces the risk of dying prematurely with 30%. It reduces our chance to develop colon cancer with 25, breast cancer with 20, heart attack with 25, and stroke with 20. So the average, what people are eating today is actually only half of what we're supposed to eat. So 9 out of 10 people are eating too little fibers. And the prebiotic fibers, can skip that one. I already talked about movement, but the prebiotic fibers is helping our intestinal flora. It increases the amount of friendly bacteria because we're feeding the good gut bacteria. It's the food for a good gut bacteria. So they're like bunnies, they duplicate if we're giving it the right food. So we just keep on feeding them the right food. Then it will help with various digestive problems. It will boost our immune system. Prebiotic fibers are metabolized to butyric acid. I'm not sure if you've heard about that before, but butyric acid is so good for our gut, and it's helping to strengthen the intestinal barrier. So you remember I was talking about the mucosa? It helps repair that and strengthen that so that we are counteracting leaky gut. And it can also kill off some bad gut bacteria. And that is why, since have also developed a prebiotic fiber that is a unique fiber blend of 8 different fibers, prebiotic fibers, and it just helps restore the gut health, helps with the healthy bowel function. And that is why a lot of the clients is using both the omega-3 and the prebiotic fibers combined is getting a lot of really good health benefits. Hold on for 2 seconds. Okay, so I already said it's a blend of 8 different fibers. The health benefits we're getting from it is that it helps with our intestinal health. Okay, but good. Intestinal health, it helps balancing cholesterol, reduces blood sugar after meals. We have a healthier bowel. So it just helps the whole body with blood sugar, cholesterol, and so on, and also cleanse out large intestines. So if you're helping your gut restore balance, the gut will be able to help you to get better health. And I also want to mention this because something else we did with Emma was to implement a really high quality supplement. And the reason why it's good to have a multivitamin is because a lot of the nutrients we're used to eat is not simply there anymore. When my grandparents had 1 orange, I today have to eat 4 oranges to get the same amount of vitamin C. So if we're looking at statistics from 1985 to 2002, we'll be able to see that the same amount of bananas that used to give us 330 milligrams of vitamin B6 today only gives us 18 milligrams. That's a decreasement of 95%. Okay, so how many bananas do you need to eat to get the same amount? It's a lot. And then we have calcium in broccoli. It have decreased with 73% from 103 milligrams to 28. And then magnesium from carrots, it's a 70% decreasement. And that is why a lot of people, even if they're doing everything right, and even if they're buying organic food and they're trying to get the right nutrients in, usually it's not able to get enough for healing. And the reason why it's so little nutrients in our soil is because we have sour soil. We have too little sun exposure too. If you're thinking about it, just the bananas that we used to eat, they're harvested so prematurely because we are harvesting several times per season. We're harvesting it immaturely so it can lay in the store and get ripe in the store for weeks to reduce the waste so that we always can have fresh bananas in the store, for example. So it's a lot of things. The mass production is not helping it. We are growing the same food and the same soil over and over and over again. We're destroying the soil with big machines and so on. So if you want to learn more about why this is happening right now, there is a really good documentary. I think you have to buy it. It's called The Last Harvest, but they are explaining about the soil quality, how we're killing off the microbiome in the soil. And when we don't have the microbiome, they cannot break down the different nutrients that they used to break down and old things and so on. So it's a very good documentary. I want everyone to see. So Cecina have also a very good multi-immune dietary supplement. It's a multivitamin that will help you feel more energized, improve your bone and joint function, and contribute to normal immune function. And Dr. Colin Roberts, he has said that extended is the single best multivitamin in the world. It is a category by itself. And Dr. Colin Roberts, he is a scientist, and he have been able to measure a lot of the different effects, what people are getting, and he's just in awe about this supplement. So in awe that he actually called up the owner and was like, hey, I see you're doing amazing things. How can I be a part of this? So that's the health protocol we're having. That's the health protocol we're having with both the balanced oil, the prebiotic fibers, and the multivitamin. And that's what Emma have been using now for a couple of months. And I would really love to take you on again, Emma, and just sorry for that. Decline. Someone is trying to call me. Emma, can you unmute yourself and just tell about your experience right now?
As in how I feel now, or about the products?
Yeah, how you feel now, how you feel today.
Yeah, so I had to write some little notes because I'm nervous. So one thing I've noticed is how much better my memory is. Obviously, when I came out of hospital, I couldn't remember what I'd said 10 minutes ago. I was like, you know, not well, obviously, but I could not remember. And my memory's always been not great in the past. For example, at work, everything I did, I would put into an email. Every phone call, I would follow it up with an email so that if it was ever asked again, I could search my emails for it. So we have like a brain call in the morning, we call it the brain call. And we used to go through every deal that we'd done the day before. And I would be there searching my emails, panicking, thinking they're going to get to me in a minute, and I can't remember. So I'd be looking through my emails and I'd find them and no one would know any different. Whereas now, I put my wireless earbuds in, and while we're doing the call, I walk around the house doing housework and I just answer. I can remember everything that happened yesterday. And that's one major thing that's made a big difference to my life. Obviously, along with the health benefits, that's obviously made a big difference, but that is amazing for me to be able to do. Another example is this. I would not have done this before I was in hospital. I wanted to. I had the ambition to. I wanted to help people with their health. I've wanted that for quite a while. But I was encouraged by people. Someone in particular, my friend Liz, was like, do a blog. Even if you don't feel well, just people want to watch your story. And it was just like, no, that is not going to happen. And I'm sitting here now talking to people over Zoom, which is exactly what she wanted me to do. And I was just like, no, and I've done it. So that's another thing that's helped a lot is with anxiety. People probably don't even realise this, but I would walk through the office at work and my stomach would be flipping because I'd be thinking, is everybody looking at me? You know, I'd a bit paranoid and thinking nobody said morning when I said morning, things like that, really anxious. I'd be in tears sometimes because people didn't say morning. And now I just don't care. If I walk in and nobody says hello to me, I just get on with my day. My anxiety is just non-existent and my confidence is through the roof. I will talk to anyone and everyone, and I just feel like a different person, and I can't get enough. I just want to get happier and happier, and all the people around me to feel the same. So yeah, digestion is so much better. I don't get stomach aches or anything anymore. I don't want to go into too much detail, but things are much better. And my weight, I was constantly yo-yo weight, up and down, fat and thin, and I mean, during 1 year, I could fluctuate half a stone at a time over a few months, up, down, and I have stayed the same for 3 months now, which is long for me, and I can't see it changing. So yeah, that's most of it. Yeah, happier. I'm just happier.
Yeah. Happier. I know you have been talking about energy that you can manage on less sleep, like, and still be feeling sharp.
Yeah, I feel good in the morning. it's almost like when I go to bed, I'm excited already for the next day. So I can't sleep, and then I sleep for like 5-6 hours, and then I'm ready again to go. So yeah, it's like I'm a different person.
And one of the biggest struggle when you're having lupus is also like very, very tired, right?
Sorry. Yeah, so I used to be able to, well, I would wake up and look forward to going back to bed. Whereas now I go to bed and look forward to wake up. So yeah, I used to nap in the day, and if I could, obviously I've got a busy life, but if I could get a nap in somewhere, if it was in the car being a passenger, I'd be asleep just to get some energy back. I haven't napped. I had a nap on Monday because I was very tired from a big weekend of partying. So I did have a nap while I was watching Coronation Street, and I woke up and I was like, I just had a nap. I was like telling people because it was so like out of character now. So yeah.
No, but yeah, thank you so much, Emma, for sharing that. So we have been using the whole health protocol in you, and I'm not sure if you're gonna follow up with people personally with links, but we do have an offer for people that are putting in an order today or tomorrow, because we're gonna have another webinar tomorrow. And the people that are putting in an order for the balance concept, the blood test, and the omega-3 oil as a minimum, you can add more products if you want to use the whole health protocol, but we're gonna use a blood test, and we're gonna, you guys are gonna have the chance to win an extra blood test that you can give to someone that you love, right? So we wanna give back to the people that are interested to transform their health. So if you guys are putting in an order before tomorrow night, probably at midnight UK time, you will be in the drawing of being able to get a free blood test,
which are worth £80 for a blood test.
Yeah, so it's a really good thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to open up for questions very quick if someone have any questions.